Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Cancer. If Cancer is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so, Cancer, we have the 10 of Cups, which has everything to do with what? Fulfillment. Is it fulfillment though? I don't know. It's getting to that full point, right? I always kind of think of it as like happiness, but I think often too it's just a sense of nearing completion, of that point right before you hit the peak, right? And it is. It's not just joyous. It can be desire and merriment and abandon a little bit, right? Or fully embracing that which is around you, right? Not unlike, the discs or coins or whatever you want to call them. Pentacles. I know some of you get angry when I don't say pentacles. Well, I'm operating off the Thoth deck, so. All right, so anyhow, let's take a look at these tea leaves. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. So we have these faces here. We have one on this side. You can see here is kind of the roundness of the head, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and we have, it looks like 3 people on top of the head. It looks like hair as well. Now, if you look over here, it looks like we have a person side profile looking this way. You can see the eye, the nose, the mouth, kind of a sharper hair up here. It leads me to believe this is somebody who is maybe a little bit more sharp with the way that they speak. Maybe even kind of brings like an energy of brutality, right? Of just absolutely going for whatever it is they have their mindset on, but doing it in a way that is like almost kind of clinical and efficient, and it can feel particularly cruel, okay? I feel like this is somebody who maybe they're not necessarily going out of their way to be rude or cruel or unthoughtful, but it's kind of just how they operate with, social, like communication, socialization, and we all know people like this, right? It might be that they have kind of a varied style of communication, or it might, well, if you've lived in different parts of the world or different parts of, well, I'm in the United States, right? It might not be that people are rude. It's just people culturally or locally maybe just interact with each other a little differently, right? And it can feel almost, I don't know, abrasive, I guess. I'll tell you what, I love the East Coast. I lived out near Pittsburgh when I was younger. I love it out there, but I'm so soft-hearted. I got my feelings hurt constantly because people were just kind of on that, like, keep it real, just kind of say what it is, say what they want, say what they need. It's not all this kind of pretense and back and forth and niceties and, all of that. And the thing is, you can trust in what they're saying for the most part, right? But it can, if you're somebody who's used to the dance, right, of small talk and nice pleasantries and all of that, it can feel almost kind of hurtful, right? So I wonder if in this situation, this person maybe is just they're a different style of communication, right? But here's the thing, is that I almost feel, because this looks also kind of like the moon, this face, I almost kind of wonder if this is something that really, I mean, it has emotionally impacted you throughout your life. And so I do almost kind of think this is maybe like a father figure, grandfather, uncle, maybe older brother, somebody. But it has really, at times, maybe made it very hard to be open with this person. Like, they're the last ones to find out about anything, because you already know. It's like, even if it's the greatest news, there's always going to be some kind of backhanded comment, right? Some kind of gripe or some kind of, well, that's great, but, you know, that kind of thing. And I feel like, you know, for you, you have really, I imagine, avoided having any other kinds of relationships like this, because it feels like it was so judgmental, right? Like you were always being kind of put down about what you care about, what you like, what you're into, you know? And it just, I think if you kind of grow up around that energy, you always carry it with you, right? And it might make you feel like, I don't care what anybody thinks, or you might really end up being kind of hypersensitive to other people's opinions and criticisms. I know that I am. That's one of my things that I have really, really tried to work on, especially after starting this channel. Because I'm not used to people telling me, oh, you did this wrong, you know, this isn't, this is terrible, you're wrong about that thing that you were talking about, I can't stand your voice, you ramble on, you know, all the things. And I've had to learn to accept, like, yeah, that's your opinion, like, you know, we all have them. I am not, you know, innocent in watching stuff, other YouTubers or TV or whatever, and thinking like I know better than them, or I can't believe they did it like that, or, you know, whatever. And that's okay, right? But it's hard. It still hurts. And so I feel like this is something that really, it added maybe to your sensitivities a little bit. Now you're a Cancer, so you are sensitive and you are very lunar. But I think this is almost too, at times, an extreme, or lack thereof, right? It feels that, or you really just won't let people close to you because you are afraid that once they get in there, they're going to see what's going on and they're going to have something to say, and you can't really take that. You don't want somebody to come in and start, you know, measuring you up and criticizing and, you know, making fun of or whatever. So I feel like this is something that, you know, even if you have gone to years of therapy to work some of this stuff out, it doesn't go away, right, necessarily. We learn how to manage some of these things, and hopefully we can kind of recode our ways of thinking, our pathways and such. But I do feel like for you, it's something that it's going to be a continued thing, you know, and sometimes it's like it gets way better, and then other times things are going on in our lives, you know, you go through a breakup, or you don't get that raise, or your mother-in-law says something super out of pocket and you're like, what the heck? It, you know, kind of shakes your foundation a little bit, you know, and that's all right. And that's all right. We try to work to build ourselves up like we would a muscle, right? to continue to be able to deal with these situations a little bit more productively, I guess. Productively, maybe. I don't know exactly what. In a way that benefits us in the long term, right? And that work and staying in the resolve, that in itself is like hands down amazing. So good for you. Now, I want to talk about the ones on the hair here. So I feel like you also have maybe like 3 other people in the family or friends group or who are close to you. They really have your back here. And where there has been at times this kind of really grumpy energy coming from this person, you know, and it does even look like they're kind of like a wolf. If you really kind of look at it like a little bit more like this, where you see the nose and the snoot. So I feel like it's kind of like you all protect each other from this energy that can like just come out of nowhere, right? Everything can be totally cool. The family's in a good place. And all of a sudden, here comes this family member and they're twisted up about something and everybody's going to pay for it, right? And that's, you know, we all have somebody like that in the family. Hopefully, you know, within a spectrum, it's not anything too, you know, malicious, but, you know, it can't, sometimes, right, when we're dealing with somebody who maybe is a little bit, I'm not going to say a narcissist, like, you know, clinical, but maybe has a little more of that narcissistic kind of, you know, tendencies. And so, yeah, I feel like you really do have a support system. You have people you love. They love you. And that makes all the difference. Okay? Now, we also have the letter I. The letter I. We, again, we have 3. 1, 2, 3. So, it could be also that maybe there are 3 of you and you are one of them. You know, maybe siblings or cousins or, you know, best friends. Whatever it is, I feel that you have a real there's a certainty towards closeness here. Okay, so we have, it looks like 4C, if that means anything to you. And then we have, it looks like a person who is walking away with money. And there's 2 people kind of chasing behind. This almost kind of, and we have the monkey. It looks like somebody who is maybe born in the year of the monkey. But I almost feel like this is like a child support situation or something like this, where somebody has said, I'm going to take care of my responsibilities, and then they're gone. They're not even involved, right? And it feels heartbreaking here. And I see all these birds flying. It's like this, like trying to get a message through. Like, and that's why I wonder if this has to do with like maybe one of your kids, or maybe this was years ago and you're thinking back on it. But it feels like this kind of why can't you just like stop, get into your center, and let's make eye contact and have this conversation, right? Let's hear each other. Let's really try to break through whatever we're feeling, whatever it is attached to, the historical implications here with us, and let's talk about honoring this child, right? Let's talk about doing the right thing, because this is a shared responsibility. And I think it just did not happen. It's not happening. It did not happen. and that is that they kind of step up. So I feel really like it feels sad. I feel like you feel, and this is the thing about having kids, isn't it? You learn for the first time that, yeah, I've been through some stuff and I've been let down and people have, done me wrong and I've had some losses and, whatever. But the moment you watch your child go through, being abandoned by somebody they love or ignored by somebody that they're trying to connect with, or whatever, that is the kind of pain that you didn't know that you had. Like, for me, not that, shout out, you all know my husband, right? Over at Tough and Serpent Tarot, who is also a Cancer, by the way. Yeah, my husband, now let me just say, he is the best dad. He is the most wonderful, wonderful father. And I'm not trying to, well, I am trying to brag about him. I am. He's pretty amazing. But, in my own life, just the little moments where I've seen, I don't know, my daughter's in preschool, right? And these kids, they're still at that amazing age where they're like, they'll just say no to you, right? They'll just tell you what's up. and it's, yeah, and it can hurt your feelings though. I'm like going back through the highlight reel of things that my daughter has said to me and thinking it was like, just like a normal, like whatever. And it is really, but as you're an adult, you forget that like brutal honesty, but yeah, so seeing my daughter play with other kids and they'll be like, oh, I don't want to play with you. And she'll come to me and say, Mom, they don't want to be my friend. And that hurts so deeply, right? Like you want to just feel like you're going to be friends. You're going to play. I'm laying down the law, But imagine how that must feel when somebody who is supposed to be part of your child's life, and it might not even be the other parent, right? It could be the grandparents. It could be your sibling who you wanted to be, auntie, uncle, whoever it is, right? But it does feel kind of even closer to like a parent, because that's a special kind of suffering, having a parent kind of reject their responsibilities. And so I feel like there's a great amount of hurt around this. There's also a lot of anger. And I don't think that it's just your anger. I think, there's plenty of that to go around. I think that this is something that, for whatever reason, it has come up. And we also have the kangaroo, which is always, for me, synonymous with, there we go, with the motherhood. That sounds funny saying it that way. But we also do, look at this mountain. We have a mountain here. We have a donkey. Look at that. That's so cool. And we have a person here who's kind of coming down the mountain. So I kind of also feel like for you, you're in this space where it's like you've hit a spiritual, what is the word? Summit. Now, it's not necessarily the highest summit that you'll ever hit, but it's one of them, right? And so now I see you kind of coming down that like holy mountain, and it's not that you're descending. I mean, you would be technically, but yeah, you're not descending from your spiritual practices. It's just the ebb and flow of things. So you might be coming into a period of time that feels a little more like, spiritually quiet, psychically quiet. But I think that this is really the time to be focusing on working on some of those blockages, right? And I know, how much fun is that? Although, as a Cancer, I know that you all are really, really introspective. And you're really good at like dedicating the time and effort into those interior processes. And so I see this as kind of just being like a natural evolution of things right now. And so, yes, I think that this is a really important time in your life. I know, we always look towards those like high highs as being like, oh yeah, that was it. For me, the most important times in my life, aside from my daughter, aside from, you know, my husband and my cats and all that kind of stuff, these little markers that we have, the most important times have been when I'm failing, when I'm getting close to rock bottom, when I am at rock bottom, you know, when I'm in it, in the thick of it. Because that's where I've forged who I am. I know, I'm still working. I'm a work in progress. What can I say? But yes, in these moments, in these ordeals, the blessings are in our troubles. I know, and I'm not one to romanticize suffering, even religious or spiritual suffering. But it is true. The answers are always there. So, you know, give thanks when things go wrong. I know, I wish, right? I wish I could be on that vibe. My goodness. Now we have the number 21, and then it looks like 02. 2102. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to go over here. We're going to take a look. We're going to see... We're going to see what lucky numbers we have. Now, I am gonna be honest with you here. It's not actually night. I always say night because there are a lot of times. I used to always film at night. Now I film, you know, throughout the day or in the evening. Right now, it's super early in the morning. It's the morning of Thanksgiving, and I'm getting ready to go. I forgot to pull the turkey out of the fridge. It's almost thawed, but I got to get that sucker out of there. I got to get food. I got some food done yesterday. Some of the stuff cooked yesterday, but I got to get up there and I gotta get moving. Everybody's like snug as a bug sleeping. When I got up to come to work today, it was so I could hear the two cats snoring very softly, and I could hear my daughter snoring, and I could hear my husband snoring, and I'm like, man, where's my caffeine? Okay, let's see. 41, number 41. Number 10. Number 17. All right. Let's go ahead. We're going to do. What do we want to stop with? Let's do the Mary Magdalens. Yeah, we're going to do those. I'm trying to think, like, so if you watch my husband's channel over at Dove and Serpent Tarot, he has like these racks that, oh my gosh, the process of figuring out what you could put tarot cards in was so, like, I had to brainstorm, right? I figured out though that those nail polish stands that, like, they have at the nail salon, they fit right in there. They're perfect. So I'm trying to think if I want to like do in one of my next little tables, if I'm going to start putting out more oracle decks so we can maybe like pick the one that vibes with the reading more, because usually I just like pick the one, I use it for, you know, a few weeks or whatever. I don't know. If you have any input, put it in the comments. I want to know. What would you like? So we're going to flip through. We're going to stop where it feels right. We're going to see how is this going to punctuate the reading. It says, the true human. I am fully human and fully divine. I am fully human and fully divine. I feel like this is somebody, I mean, this could be me, like telling myself, I am fully human. Yes, I am. I am a real human being. I'm 100% genuine human. Sometimes you gotta talk yourself into believing it, right? All right. So anyways, Cancer, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending your time with me. It really is an honor, truly. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about subscribing. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when those next readings are coming out. It is free for you to subscribe. Also, if you want to hit the little, what did I say? The bell, that bell thing. It'll, oh yeah, I think I already said that. Anyways, if you hit the like button, that was so helpful to the channel. Any of the engagement, all of the engagement helps. I was just thinking, I'm sorry, my brain just went to, I made pies yesterday, and what I didn't incorporate everything enough in one of the pies. It was a pumpkin pie, and I've never used sweetened condensed milk in making a pie like that, and instead of sugar, right? Usually you can use, you know, white sugar or whatever. And so when it came out, I was like, man, it kind of like bubbled weird, but it didn't break on the top. And I just had a sneaking suspicion something was up with this pie. So I lifted the top a little bit, like with a little knife to see, and it was like scrambled eggs inside. I was like, oh my gosh. So then I made another pie, right? And I had to leave. I had to go take my daughter to a class and stuff. And I let it cool. I put it on the stove, and I put like a flour, whatever, what are those called? Like the flour dish rag kind of things, the thin, real kind of thin white ones. And I come home, and I took it off to take a look at the pie, and there's one hole in it, and I'm like, oh, maybe there's a bubble. I don't know what the heck. It seemed fine when I left. Well, my husband, he comes over and he's like, oh, the cat stepped on it. The cat just walked over my pie. So, I mean, that's what I get, right? Anyways, sorry to ramble. My brain, it just goes to where it wants to go. And what's the last thing? If you want to leave a comment, yes, absolutely. I read every single comment. I look forward to hearing from you. I'm going to go ahead again and tell you I love you, I love you, I love you. We're going to talk real soon. Take care of yourself. We're in that holiday season. And we need to look out for each other. We need to look out for ourselves. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. You're eating, you know, whatever is healthy for you. Moving your body a little bit, intentional movement, getting fresh air. And don't doom scroll. Stop the doom scrolling. All right. I love you. Take care of yourself. Good night.